Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gentex Multimedia Live Stream for the 10th of February. It's a bit of a shady sort of a day out there today. Well, right now, what is the day going to look like weather-wise? Let's welcome Dilraj.
Good morning, everyone. Weather forecast for the rest of today is maximum 29 degree. Brisbane area is partly cloudy with a slight chance of shower, most likely in the late morning and afternoon. Wind southerly 15 to 25 km per hour, tending southeasterly and then becoming light in the evening. Fire danger is low to moderate. Sun protection is recommended till 4 p.m. and UV index is predicted to reach 12, that is extreme. Till tomorrow, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thank you very much for that update, Dilraj. Well, right now, moving on with the show for today, as we know that today's main feature would be real estate update with Usha Chandra. But before we do that, we will need to go and have a look at what's happening out there. There's many things that are happening at this point in time. But first of all, we'll join our premier with a live update for Queensland.
Nice to see you again. Can we do an intro and then?
Yeah, sure.
I think, Stephen, what I'm going to do is introduce everybody, then introduce Matt, who'll then pass on to you.
Okay.
And go around to him.
Okay.
That would be a good way to start.
Good morning, everybody. I'm hoping you can all hear me. My name's Simon Crooks. I'm the project director for this amazing construction site and opportunity for Brisbane behind me. I'm going to introduce on what I think is a great day for Brisbane. All the really important people will talk about this great opportunity. I would make one point. DFS, the company we're talking about, have such confidence in Queensland and the opportunity here that this is pretty well the only thing they worked on worldwide during COVID last year. This is it. They had ongoing projects, but they stopped every other opportunity and focused solely on us. And I can't thank them enough. But on that note, I'd like to welcome, obviously Matt Becky, our CEO, the Deputy Premier, the Treasurer, and Grace as well, who's your electorate, I think.
Yes, it is.
And I will get off now and hand over to Matt. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and it's nice to be back in Queensland. Today, we're sort of reflecting a little bit. In 2015, we got the development rights for Queen's Wharf. In 2018, our plans were approved. Now we're less than 2 years away from opening this up. And that's a fantastic milestone for us today because we're able to announce a bit of a coup. Simon's mentioned it. We've been able to do a deal with DFS to bring 100 luxury brands to Brisbane. Some of these brands have never been to Queensland, some of them have never been to Australia. Most of the brands will be in that beautiful heritage building behind us, where we will transform the inside into a 3-story luxury outlet. Then we'll have 16 additional stores here in the luxury box facing outside. That's the entry into the integrated resort. And it's important to remember that this is the only integrated resort of scale that's being built around the world today. That means in 22, when hopefully traffic and travel resumes to normality, this will pop on the global scale. And it will certainly pop now that we have this fantastic retail offering to complement what we're doing here. So we're pretty chuffed. As your resident Euro, I'm particularly chuffed to have all these European brands. So in about 2 years' time, when Valentine's Day rolls around, you know where you need to go to do your duty. Thank you. I want to hand over to the Deputy Premier now. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Matt. The Palisade government's incredibly proud to have supported and continue to support the Queen's Wharf development, and we're especially pleased to hear today about this contract announcement, the retail partnership announcement. It will deliver 6,000 square metres of the world's best brands, and they're clambering over themselves to get into Brisbane and to be a part of this. And that's important because those brands will be some of what will attract the anticipated $1.4 million visitors, each and every year to this development and to Brisbane, and that will create jobs. There will be lots and lots of jobs, not just in construction, you can see that right now, but of course in that high-end retail, and we're very, very excited to see this next milestone and of course the development to start opening up. It really means that Brisbane, the southeast and Queensland, we're primed, we're ready for, as the world comes out of the COVID-19 pandemic, our economy is set to really take off. Visitors from around the world. There's no other project like this one under construction or even indeed in planning right now, and so that means that when the world opens up, Brisbane will be the place people want to come to for those brands as well as everything else here on the site. I ask the Treasurer and Grace to say a few things.
Well, thanks to Destination Brisbane Consortium and the Queen's Wharf project for inviting us along today for an important announcement. When you see the economic activity happening here on this site, it's hard to imagine the devastation that COVID is still causing around the world. And to see this announcement today, to know that this project continued all the way through 2020, all the way through COVID, I think is a real testament to the way Queenslanders as one were able to respond to the pandemic and to fight back against the pandemic. Our strong health response and our targeted economic stimulus means that Queensland is one of the best places in the world to invest and to develop a business. And that's what we're seeing here today with this announcement. A DFS is coming to Brisbane. They say if you build it, they will come, and they are coming to Brisbane, bringing one of the premier retail outlets in the world right here in our own backyard. This will put Queensland on the map. As the Deputy Premier said, we're doing it tough at the moment when it comes to international tourism. But with the vaccine now being distributed around the world, we know the international tourists will return to Queensland. And when they come, when they make a choice about where they travel around the world, we want them to choose Queensland. Getting a 6,000 square metre retail space, the largest DFS facility and retail outlet in Oceania, right here in Brisbane, that will put Queensland on the map. We're not competing with Sydney and Auckland. We want to compete with Hong Kong and Singapore and all of those destinations in our region to say to those tourists, come to Queensland. We have a terrific place. It's a terrific tourism offering, and we are the place to be. And people will know, because of our strong health response, we are a safe place to travel, it's a safe place to invest, and it's a safe place for the future. And so, as the Treasurer and Minister for Investment, I welcome this announcement today. This is a terrific sign of confidence in Queensland, in our economy and in the future. So congratulations to everyone involved. It's a great announcement. We look forward to the project steaming ahead, these retail outlets opening and putting Brisbane right on the map.
And next up is Minister Grace reporting from the Queen's Wharf Development right here in central
Beautiful
Brisbane.
one day, perfect the next. And the Queen's Wharf project just keeps delivering with now this world-class retail attraction that we'll be having here right in the heart of Brisbane. Not only is this project reshaping Brisbane in so many ways, it's now reshaping the retail outlet to complement already the fantastic retail offering we have in Brisbane. This is world-class. Really excited to be here today with the Queen's Wharf project team leaders, knowing that we are going to introduce a world-class retail outlet that will truly become an attraction for tourists right around the world. Brisbane is being reshaped by this project in so many ways. The jobs it's created, we're a safe state, we're a world-class state, and soon we will be the #1 destination because of the offerings that are happening right here in the seat of McConnell. I couldn't be prouder for this to be happening in my electorate. Thanks for having me.
And thank you very much, the Minister Grace. And that one is a big project going on right in the center of Brisbane, and it will, despite all words, it's still progressing and going well. And as the Deputy Premier had said, that if you build a place, people will come, and that they are coming. Yes, they are coming, and they're coming by the bucket loads, as they say. It is a place to invest, it's a place to be. And, with the Queen's Wharf, it's not only that precinct, it's all the surrounding areas as well that gets a little bit of boost.
It's time now for Real Estate Update. With Usha Chandra of GlobeNet Realty, real estate is our world.
Face to face, afraid to move on.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome, and let's get into this real estate update with Usha Chandra. So, and once again, Usha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Greetings from GlobeNet Realty this morning.
Well, wonderful to have you on the show. As we know that we are here midway into February, and of course, looking at February, we know that we have just coming out of the COVID-19. So, what has the real estate market shown in performance-wise, even during COVID-19?
The housing market has shown robust performance despite the shock of COVID-19 in 2020. But the pandemic has impacted pockets of the housing market, creating opportunities for buyers. Recent housing values declines are particularly prominent in major cities like Sydney and Melbourne. These cities accounted around 75% of international migration across the capital cities in 2018 and 2019. Meaning international borders closures have created a particular demand shock.
Well, that is good to see that the cities have accounted for 75% of international migration, and meaning that international borders closures have impacted on the demand of the shock. So moving on, when we look at all the real estate, even though not all areas are prone to auctions, many are private treaties as well, but real estate is often gauged by the auction clearance rates. So, can you give us an update on what's been happening in all the capital cities?
Yes, absolutely. The capital cities, as we know, Sydney, Melbourne are very strong in auctions. Sydney was 89% clearance, whereas the total auctions were 449, and the 357 were sold. The cleared auctions, out of those, 318 were sold and 39 were not sold. So the clearance rate was 77.5%. The total auctions last year was 447. Melbourne market was 80.8% clearance rate, 592 total auctions, and the clearance was 395, and uncleared auctions were 94, so 68.5%, and total number of auctions last year was sold auctions were 419. Brisbane was 74.6%, 84 auctions throughout Brisbane, 47 were sold and 16 were not cleared auctions, so 42.7%. The total number of auctions in Brisbane was 115 only. Adelaide was 82.8%, 85 total auctions. The clearance rate was 48 auctions and 10 were not sold, so their clearance rate was 58.8%, so 77 auctions sold throughout the last year. Perth was 75%, 17 auctions, 9 were sold and 3 were not sold. 36% was their clearance rate last year, and 35 auctions were sold. Tasmania was not applicable, only one auction, so obviously Tasmanians don't want auctions, so they don't get that many properties for auctions. Canberra was the highest actually at 92.7%, and the total auctions were 59, and the clearance rate was 38%, 38 properties sold, and 3% were 3 were not cleared, auctions not sold. So their result was 75%. 70 throughout the year were sold through auction method.
So, when we look at auctions, as we know that some cities are more pro or pro auction than others, as we know, Brisbane has never been a pro auction areas apart from the inner city areas. But even then, they made it up to 42%, which is quite good. But if you look at the overall clearance rate, Brisbane was 74%, which is still quite a good clearance rate. But as now is the right time for auction with the limited number of stock and more number of buyers in the market. Well, moving on. Sorry, you were...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, auctions are the best way at the moment because there's multiple buyers and people are paying more than what the owners are expecting. So I think the auction method in this market condition is the best especially for Brisbane.
Yeah, of course, it's the market that dictates what kind of method, what selling method might work best. Well, when we're looking at properties, there are some properties, when people say, what is great about the property? When you look at two properties, the one might get more money than the other one. So, when you look at the classification or A grade, B grade or C grade, as you call, what are the common factors and features that, make the properties different from others, and what makes one better than the other?
Exactly. While all the properties share common features, the composition of these features is what it makes each property unique. CoreLogic has identified a series of building blocks known as core 7 attributes that make up each property's specific geometric string. Property types is extremely important to buyers. I mean, they will see whether they want houses, apartments, or units, or villas. That's extremely important. I mean, while families are looking at properties, they're looking for more houses. Then the land size. A lot of people want land size. They want bigger lands. Some people who are retired, they don't want big lands. They want smaller blocks so they can maintain it well. So the size does matter to individual buyers. Building area, square meters, how many square meters is the house, depends on the family's needs. Whether it's a larger family, obviously they'll be looking at bigger property with bigger square meters.
And with that building area, would it also mean that if you got a size of land, how much of that you are allowed to build on? Would that have any consequences on the sale?
Depends. I mean, some of the blocks we have got in Fitzgibbon area, which is only 200 square meters. So the houses are about 180 square meters is the houses. So they get only 10 square meters for the backyard or the side yard, whatever. Depends on the block size and the council requirements for individual shire councils. So building area is depending on the specifications from the shire councils. Then number of bedrooms is another thing. A lot of people are looking, if it's a large family, they'll be obviously looking for more bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, whatever. A lot of retired people still prefer to live in smaller houses with 2 or 3 bedrooms on a smaller block. So it depends on the family's needs. The number of bedrooms are dependent on that. And bathrooms, most of the people will prefer at least minimum 2 bathrooms, whether it's a 3-bedroom house or 5-bedroom house, at least the minimum of two bathrooms.
I don't know about many other people, but for me that would be a very important feature if I was looking for houses, because even when we have or people get visitors and other things, sharing the common bathroom becomes a little bit, because it's a more personal thing. That's my own feeling. Even when we go many places, I'd like to go stay in hotels. And people say, why is that? One of the reasons is the use of the bathroom. That's personal space of your personal time. So yes, that is good that you've mentioned that number of bathrooms does have a bearing on the features.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, a lot of ladies leave ladies alone. A lot of men use bathrooms for longer periods. So absolutely, a lot of people prefer two bathrooms. Then the number of car spaces is very important as well. I mean, if a family has got at least two cars, they want two-car accommodation or multiple car accommodations. So that's extremely important. And a lot of people want to buy houses under 10 years old, or some people want post-war homes. So it depends on what sort of buyers are looking for properties. And a lot of people, like investors, a lot of investors prefer under 10 years old, so they can get the depreciation and all those sort of things. There's not much maintenance, and they get good returns or on newer homes.
Well, I mean, we're talking about car spaces, so I'm not too concerned about the suburbia, but if you look at the inner city area, you pay a premium for car spaces. Even when you're buying apartments, inner city apartments, if you add on another car space, it costs almost the same as you pay for a 3-bedroom house out in the suburbs.
Exactly. I mean, the car spaces in the CBD area are at least 150,000 for extra cars. So people prefer. I mean, the CBD is a different kettle of fish altogether. You can catch public transport or cabs or whatever. But in suburbia, a lot of people prefer multiple car spaces.
Okay, and I think the last is looking at the age of the house. Would that really matter as well?
Yeah, a lot of people prefer under 10 years old. A lot of people prefer, I mean, I'm selling one house which is 90 years old, and the people have loved it because it's got the high ceilings, the VJ walls, and the LED light windows and doors. So it depends on the preference of individual buyers.
Well, of course, individual buyers. So when you talk about buyers, what factors are the most important to buyers when they're considering buying a property?
Exactly. I mean, the most important factors for the buyers considering to purchase a property. Home buyers can calculate estimated commute times, so they're looking at how far it's for transport and other amenities, other lifestyle factors. While investors can check estimated rental returns and the capital growth potential. So there's different types of buyers who are looking for different types of properties. Like a lot of buyers, like first home buyers with young families, they're looking for schools, how they can walk to the schools, childcare facilities, trains, buses, all those sort of things. A lot of people still want to prefer, like older people, they want to stay close to the transport and shopping centers and medical centers. So individual buyers have got their own choice of locations.
And I think you have quite rightly said there that it's quite interesting, the differentiation between what person who's buying to live in as compared to the investors. As you have said, that investors look at rental returns and capital growth, so two things that really matter to them. And people buying to live in, look at amenities, lifestyle factors, commute times, etc. So that's good. Okay, so when you look at say banks and other things, so what do banks and property specialists look at?
The banks look at the size of the property as well. They send the valuers to look at whether the valuation adds up, whatever the people are paying, and all this data is it's available to everybody online, so then they can calculate whatever the payments will be, and the risk of valuation, I mean the risk of pricing to faster sales and positive client experience. So GlobeNet has got the solutions. If you are looking for any financial advice or any property advice, we have got the resources there. We can guide you to the right path.
Okay, as we know that GlobeNet Realty is not a financial advisory institution, but you've got access to the practitioners who are able to do that. That's quite good. Yeah. And of course, when we look at the data, you have always been an experienced agent. So, these days people reckon that, you can tell me anything but show me the data, as you cannot argue with data analysis, and that's what we have been going through on all of these shows. So it is quite wonderful. So when you look at valuations and the data, that always adds up. Yeah. Okay, right now moving on to that, we're also looking at what's happening with the cash rates or the interest rate, because a very strong part of the property market is the lending market. Of course, if people don't have access to funds, if they don't have access to the loans, the property market would collapse. So what is happening with the cash rate and the interest rate, and what are the predictions for 2021?
Yeah, as most of us know that RBA board meeting on 2021, low interest rates, strong institutional responses and rapidly improving economic conditions have been central factors supporting the rebound of housing markets, with mortgage rates likely to remain at a record low well into 2022. Housing values are expected to keep rising. Australian housing values reached new record heights after rising 3.2% since September last year. Retail sales rose 13.3% year on year, and both consumer and business confidence are trending well above pre-COVID levels.
So that is once again quite a good. It shows the confidence in the market. And if you're looking at the retail sales, 13.3% up, and of course housing prices expected to keep rising and well into 2022, while interest rate will remain on hold. So that is quite a good prediction that you have done there. Well, further outlooks are looking a little bit ahead of time. What would you say is the property market going to look like?
The housing prices expect to keep on rising, as I mentioned before. Attention will once again turn towards housing affordability. So it's extremely important to know that if the prices are rising, there's high demand of buyers in the marketplace, whereas the supply is not there. So most important affordable markets in Sydney and Melbourne are recording the mildest growth conditions. Meanwhile, in the most affordable capital cities of Darwin and Perth, where housing values are rising the most rapidly.
So Darwin and Perth, with great increases. Of course, as we know that these things are seasonal. Of course, some areas rise more than the others, then they level in and they come in line and come in tune with the rest of the other capitals. Well, of course, we always talk about the other part of real estate. One is sales, the other part is rentals, because they're both the other two sides of the coin. And as we looked at what people look for in properties, investors look at slightly different things than what the buyers look at. So what is the overall condition of the rental market?
Queensland rental market is really good actually. Rental markets in most of the Queensland areas, including regional areas, are extremely high. The greatest demand for these stand-alone houses rather than units. So a lot of people still prefer to buy get houses rather than units because of the land, as I said, and they have got more space. It is not common for 20 applicants applicants to apply. So we go to our open houses and we have got multiple applications. Some of the properties have got more than 20 applications on a single property. So that shows that the demand is quite high and supply is not there. A lot of people are putting higher, like $20 to $50 more into their applications, so they don't miss out. They are offering higher amount of money. A lot of families in Greater Brisbane are facing intense competition. So in the last 10 years, we have over this year and last year, it has been increased so much in value, which was not there, say, 4, 5 years or 10 years ago. People were getting really lower prices, but at the moment we are getting extremely high demand of rental properties. I mean, we have in our own office experience, we're getting one property was getting 475, now they're getting 560. So it shows that people are paying more than what the owners or the landlords are asking, or we are asking. Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about your agency, so in conclusion, so we'd like to get an update from your agency and about any open house auctions or any property of the week that you'd like to mention.
Yes, we have got a couple of opens this weekend. We have got one rental open house because we haven't got that many rentals at 112 Muller Road, which is from 9:15 to 9:30. So we're expecting quite a few people coming to that open house. Then sales open houses, we haven't got that many properties, as I mentioned before. We have got one property at 14 Caribou Crescent, and it's ideal investment property. It's already got tenants. The rent is for 40, and that tenant would like to live there, and he may be able to pay up to 460. The asking price is 529, and that's on the market. Just come on the market this week, and it's open at 10 o'clock. The second one, we have got another investors are selling. The landlord is selling, so it's currently rented for $390. It's on the market for $499, and it's open at 28 Murphy Road at 11 o'clock. And then we have got the last open house at 13 Roscommon Road, which is quite a nice house. It's good, ideal for family. It's a walking distance to the schools, shops, transport, and all other amenities. Childcare centre is just down the road. So that's on the market for $599, open to reasonable offers, and that's open at 12 o'clock. So we haven't got, as I said, we haven't got too many open houses because we haven't got too many properties. The demand is quite high. So please, if you are thinking of selling, contact our agency for rentals and for sales, and any landlords who is looking for to bring their management properties to us. We are offering very good rates and free marketing, free photography as well. So to build to fill our demands at the moment.
So once again, Usha, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing all that wonderful information. And of course, it is good to see where the trends are and what's happening with the industry or the related industry. So of course, we're talking about residential rental sales, and of course, we've all looked at the financing part of that as well. So once again, it's wonderful to have you on the show. So until next week, it's goodbye.
Thank you and goodbye.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Usha Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
appropriate that people be held to account for what's happened, not just as a matter of looking back, but as a matter of looking forward to it so that we make sure this doesn't happen again.
Do you think the Australian government was right in its guide to kind of lead the way into this investigation?
I think there was always going to be an investigation into an outbreak that has seen millions of people lose their life and our entire world turned upside down.
Do you think?
Keep going.
Do you think this will, we'll be able to rebuild our relationship with China now that this is kind of behind us?
Well, we've had a constructive relationship with China in the past under Labor and coalition governments. I proposed a short time ago, I wrote to Scott Morrison and proposed that the Australian government use the human capacity at our disposal in the form of Kevin Rudd and John Howard. We have an economic interest in repairing the relationship because jobs depend on it. Look, I've had no discussions with Jackie or anyone else about that process. It's not surprising that expressions of interest will be asked for. We'll go through those processes. We'll have candidates in the field, and I'm very confident that here in Queensland we will have an outstanding team. We've already got the quality, and two of them are standing behind me. What we need in Queensland is the quantity joining our caucus. And I've been here for the past week. I'll be back in Queensland time and time again, campaigning with Queenslanders on the ground. I look forward to when we have candidates. But what I know is that I won't just come when there's a state election campaign like Scott Morrison did to raise money, to do fundraisers, to campaign against Anastasia Palaszczuk and to criticise Queenslanders for wanting to stay safe. That's what happened last year, including Scott Morrison choosing a fundraiser over having a national cabinet meeting. What I will do is speak to Queenslanders each and every day. In Bundaberg yesterday, I enjoyed having a walk around that great regional town with Tom Smith, the newly elected local member. I was in Hervey Bay, I was in Maryborough, I've been in Cairns. I don't have my own plane, so I've got to come back to Brisbane and go out again, but that's a good thing. I look forward to engaging. I love getting out and about and talking to people. I don't have to worry about, now we're not allowed to shake hands, but I don't have to worry about greeting people when I do a street walk or out and about. I take it as it comes, but the reception, can I say, has been extremely positive.
Will you visit a coal mine when you come back?
It's
a resource state and it provides a lot of jobs.
You'll see my itinerary. I'll be back and I'll visit all sorts of workplaces and all sorts of workers. I respect workers in Queensland, no matter where they work and what they do. Hang on, one at a time.
Yep. Industrial relations. With your proposed changes to gig, are you expecting that some of those services might cost more if they apply to give greater protections to the workers?
What I'm expecting is that the cost that's there now won't continue to be there. I'll tell you what the cost that's there now is. The cost that's there now is people being forced to work under conditions that are third world. A drive down whereby people don't have a floor on what they're paid. Where workers, for example, bidding for NDIS contracts, someone says, I'll do that job for $100. Someone else bids, I'll do it for 90. Someone else says, I'll do it for 80. Sound familiar? Work choices. That's what work choices was. People bidding, individuals against each other for work without a floor. What we're proposing is to have basic conditions that Australians know and understand they deserve. Minimum rates, decent things like leave and other things that Australian workers take for granted. The nature of our work has changed, and all Australians benefit from being able to get in a car through Uber or get food delivered through the many food delivery services, get a job done at home through Airtasker. That shouldn't come at the cost of having people work under conditions which simply aren't livable. And there's another issue as well, which is the cost of human lives. We actually saw lives lost. Why were lives lost at the end of last year? Because an algorithm tells you that you've got to get on your bike and you've got 8 minutes to go from A to B, when any sensible, safe ride might take you 15. But that's how much you're going to get paid for it. That sort of pressure that is on these workers has literally led to the loss of lives last year. We're a better country than that. We're a fairer country than that. And I make no apologies for making sure that we deliver a change that reflects the modern economy.
Of course, that is what we discussed yesterday about the delivery drivers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting very close to the time for today.
Hi everyone, this is Tanvi Goyal, PR of GoPure Queensland.
And I'm Umesh Chandra.
GoPure Queensland invites you to India Day Fair fundraising gala dinner.
Get ready for a fun-filled evening of mesmerizing music with delicious food.
Raffles, auctions and some special surprises.
And you can dress in your Indian attire or come with your formal attire.
And tickets are limited, so please book immediately to prevent any disappointment.
And you can book via Eventbrite, and the link is www.eventbrite.com.au/India Day Fair Fundraising.
Thank you to all our sponsors. Our platinum sponsors are Springfield City Group and New Style Developments.
And our gold sponsors are Dream Style Decorators and Bipel.
And silver sponsors are Rise, Sleep Health and Professionals and Gora Travel.
And very special thanks to Brisbane City Council, MP Peter Russo, ECCQ and MP Miss Leanne Leonard.
And also our exclusive media partners, Brisbane Indian Times and Australian Indian Radio.
And for a fun-filled night, raising much-needed funds for GoPure's India Day Fair. See you all there.
There. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for today. It's been wonderful having your company. As we know, there's so much to talk about. Of course, the real estate update with Usha Chandra, which we had today. We know that, the political parties and everyone's all talking about the industries and relations and the new reforms that have been proposed, and of course looking at the working conditions of the delivery drivers, and there are many other related industries where the working conditions are terrible. If we have protection for some workers and they enjoy terms and conditions which are much better than the others, then that should not be. There should be, as we mentioned even yesterday, a fair go for everyone. So until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me. If you're looking at all the badges, well, today is a special lunch for the OAM, so hence I have to put on my badge, and we'll bring you an update and probably some coverage from that event tomorrow. So until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me. We'll see you later. Most importantly, please stay safe.